Right, a quick look. So I had the RDL4040 delivered and installed by David on well, it was Tuesday, and when it was installed we just had a wooden table in the middle of the floor here. Obviously couldn't stand on that for and be used for very long, but it was enough to set it up, show it working, and just run through the basics. So I had a wooden bench here, pretty much like the one that you can see there, and this green metal bench was out in one of the other sheds, unused. It was just stacked boxes all underneath it all the way up. There was no work surface on it, so I had a quick measure up, and literally just fits in there. So all of the other stuff that was there has been pulled out. Now what I'm thinking of, well, okay, so there's a number of problems. First of all, oh, what a shame that's all been scratched up. There's obviously a vent hose right in the middle at the back of the machine, and the CO2 laser is also at the back of the machine, with mirrors to clean and things like that. So you really need to be able to get this out. I mean, possibly. Actually, no. I mean, there's no way you can spin it around. I was thinking if there was a work surface on there, you'd be able to spin it around. But with the pipes connected, you've got the air pump, the water pump. All these things are going to be connected. I just don't see how you can spin the machine around to access anything. So what I did was found on Amazon these little casters. I've managed to drill through the steel legs and mount them, and you can, if you want, drop it back down onto the legs. They all need to go down, or you can lift it up, and that is now on the caster. So I can now pull that out. I've had to lose all of the boxes that were on there to give it clearance, but I can now slide that whole thing out. Now what I'm thinking of doing is putting a piece of wood in the bottom for the water, so I can pull the machine out and the water and the pumps and everything come out with it. The only thing I've got to do is, well, I've actually bought it already. I have got somewhere a 3 metre 6-inch vent cover and 3 meters of this tube. It's pretty much the same as the tube that this is supplied with, which I can't even see where it is now. What did I do with that? Oh, somewhere in here there is the tube that this came with, I think, which is about 1 meter's length. So middle of the machine, and I was just venting it out there for test purposes, but it's not long enough, so I've had to buy another one so I can actually have this pulled out to get behind it. So that is the old air conditioning vent. I don't know whether the air conditioner will actually go underneath this. So as I said, I was thinking of putting a piece of wood across there, but I was actually also thinking of removing this front bar, and the reason for that is to get all these drawer units back in. So yeah, not quite sure what to do there. I suppose if we screwed a triangular piece of wood to the remaining metal, if we can remove this bar, that might support the water for the machine and the air pump. So yeah, we're going to work something out. So yeah, it's a lot bigger in the flesh than you realise just when you're being given measurements online or whatever. You just really can't picture how big this is until it arrives. It's obviously got to come out further than this, because at the moment the metal mount for the vent pipe is almost pressed up against the wall, so it will certainly have to come out further than this. But now it's on wheels, I'm hoping we will be able to solve the problems. I suppose actually, if I move that front bar back further, I can get these units underneath. That also might be a good idea. Just got to undo the screws, drill through further back, and that may allow that support bar to be used, but also give these drawers space to slide under. Yeah, it's a shame they won't go under properly on a big shelf, but even if I reduce them down, I think I've got too many to allow that to happen. But yeah, it might be worth a look. Maybe if I take one section, because they're all in sections as you can see, maybe if I turn that into a 3-drawer unit and we can have 2 or 3 side by side. But yeah, so look, a few things it would have been nice to have known: the size of the vent, and really that you're going to need to buy yourself a much longer tube and vent cover. I mean, this was only 15 quid from Amazon, and I think it's pretty much the same as the one that the machine is supplied with. So yeah, if you've got a small workshop like this, then yeah, you're going to need to wiggle things around a bit, but we'll get there, I'm sure. The other thing I'm expecting to do is to buy a 6-inch inline air extractor with control box, probably. I really don't want any, because this is such a small workshop, I really don't want any fumes, etc. Getting into here. I think there's a hole underneath the unit. Will certainly be blocking that up. I don't want any air being drawn into this unless it's, you know, probably through the front. Obviously there's gaps everywhere that will draw air in, but I certainly don't want a hole underneath that's going to achieve absolutely nothing. So I think we'll be blanking that off. So yeah, just wanted to show you that it's going to be possible in a very small workshop like this. And yeah, we'll add some updates later on. Okay, so next stage done. We've got the Amazon tube fitted, 3 meters. Obviously that will stretch out miles. I've gone for the...
Sorry, I'm not sure.
I've gone to put it on the floor and out through the wood shed and into the vent that came with the pipe. So that's nice and neat. I've run some sealant around on the inside. I'm also going to run some sealant around the outside and along the bottom where the wood's actually split and you can see into the workshop. So we're going to do that. So my thinking is, if we get a nice powerful 6-inch inline pump somewhere in that area, excuse me, that is probably going to do the job quite nicely, but it's also way long enough to allow me to pull this out for accessing anything at the back, the laser, sorry, the CO2 tube for cleaning, etc., and inspection. So yeah, that's the next stage. Yeah, there we go. Just got to seal that up, hoover up, and then we'll see what the airflow is like with the built-in fan, but I suspect an inline pump is going to be much better. So that's stage 2. Right, apologies for the noise, it's absolutely tipping it down. So I managed to unscrew that bar that was at the front, and that's allowed me to push all of the units back under there. We've got a little bit of space there. I've cut the lid off of the big container at the back, and I've just lifted it up. It's, you know, the threaded bit. I've actually cut around that and fed the pump straight into the bottom of the barrel, and the return is going through the filler or pourer without the cap on. That will slide along to the side and out through the front here if I move this shelving unit. So yeah, it's just about gone in there. I'm just deciding whether I should put a piece of wood on here to allow me to use the legs. Now the legs go in here, right in the corners, although I'm a bit bothered about the wiring here. I'll have to have a little peek inside, but if we've got legs on it and it's on some wood, I will be able to level the machine off, or if I need to, I can slightly raise one end or the other, because you do not want bubbles in the CO2 laser tube. You need that completely full with no bubbles whatsoever. So you know, currently I can't really do anything to level it up. I suppose I could. See, at the moment the wheels are in the up position as much as I can with the back ones, because the lever fouls the bar there, as you can see, so the casters are just slightly touching the floor there. It's perfectly stable. And then to lift this up, I literally need to pull these 3 units out, push the levers down, and just slide it out across to get to everything. So the idea really was to have a shelf built into here that water container sits on, but one, I'm not sure the tubes are long enough, and two, I mean, it might be a little bit tricky screwing it in to the metal. Gone through enough drill bits, just cutting 2, 4, 6, 8 holes through the metal legs. But yeah, quite pleased with all of that. I don't suppose you're going to be able to see this with all the lights. We've got the newer panel, I think it's the 6445. We're going to have the laptop somewhere. We've got a touch screen monitor there, which I'll probably use. Focusing piece, goggles. This lifts up without touching the monitor. That's the air assist that you can hear blowing there. So yeah, I'm definitely going to block up the hole that's, probably can't see it, it's not going to focus. Oh yes you can. There's a hole there, and I don't really want air being sucked in there. I want the air being sucked in across the top here and out. Now I've left enough pipe down the back here that we can get an inline 6-inch pump wired in. That bit of tape is a split in the pipe, and I was going to take it out and return it, but because it doesn't matter, I'm going to put an inline pump in there. That's where we'll cut it and fit the pump there. Now it stopped raining. It should a little bit. You can see that we're not really shifting a hell of a lot of air. It's barely got the slats open. Had to rain, didn't it, on my fresh sealant, which is not waterproof. You can see the rain's turned brown. So yeah, I'm not sure we've really got enough flow to evacuate this. Do not want smoky smells in this workshop. I mean, these machines are not really designed for such tiny spaces, as you know, but I think if we do get that inline pump, and I've certainly got the room for it, then I think that might be a whole lot better. So yeah, there we are, got it in, got my space back. Not quite sure where I'm going to pull all of those. I can put some back on there, but if I have to move this, then it's all got to come out. All those have got to come out. So yeah, well look, it's in, and I'm happy enough with that.